There is a moment, a fleeting one, after you are disrespected. It is raw, it is sharp, like a blade that has just grazed the skin. Your mind races, heart pounds, and a primal urge wells up inside you, the need to retaliate. But pause. Ask yourself, is this momentary satisfaction worth the chains it will bind you to? Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In that single moment of silence, you hold the key to untold power. Today, we will explore the profound philosophy behind staying quiet after disrespect, a behavior that embodies the very essence of Stoicism. The ancient Stoics, warriors of the mind, believed that silence was not weakness, but a shield forged from discipline, self-mastery, and inner strength. It is this silence that allows us to transcend the chaos, to rise above the petty, and to transform disrespect into wisdom. Are you ready to embark on a journey of inner fortitude, one that will ignite within you the unshakable strength of the Stoic? Let's begin. Number 1. The nature of disrespect and the role of ego. Disrespect, at its core, is an external event, a projection of another person's internal chaos. It may sting, yes, but it is not the insult itself that wounds us, it is our interpretation of it. Epictetus reminds us, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Yet why does disrespect cut so deeply? The answer lies in the ego. The ego demands validation. It thrives on the perception of power and control. When someone disrespects us, the ego interprets it as an attack on our worth, our value, our existence. It urges us to respond, to fight back, to restore its fragile sense of superiority. But the Stoics teach us that the ego is a tyrant, leading us into unnecessary battles that drain our energy and cloud our reason. When we stay quiet in the face of disrespect, we deny the ego its fuel. This silence is not submission, it is strength. It is the conscious decision to rise above the pettiness of the moment and to refuse to be governed by another's hostility. Seneca said, "It is the power of a great mind to be unperturbed by insults." This power lies in understanding that your worth is not determined by the opinions of others. Instead of reacting, reflect. Ask yourself, what does this moment teach me about my own weaknesses? What can I learn from the other person's outburst? By turning the lens inward, we shift the focus from retaliation to self-improvement. This is the true art of Stoicism, transforming adversity into an opportunity for growth. Number 2. Silence as a weapon of mastery. Silence is not mere inaction. It is a deliberate act of mastery over oneself. When someone disrespects you, their intention is often to provoke, to drag you into a battle of words or emotions where reason is abandoned and chaos reigns. By staying quiet, you deny them that victory. You hold the high ground, both mentally and morally. The Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. To remain silent is to refuse to mirror the negativity directed at you. It is an act of rebellion against your baser instincts. In silence you declare, 'You will not control me.' This silence does not mean repression. It does not mean burying emotions or pretending the disrespect never occurred. Instead, it is about holding space for reflection. What does this moment demand of me? Do I act or remain still?" Silence gives us the clarity to make these decisions, free from the haze of anger or pride. The Stoics also viewed silence as a form of training. By practicing restraint in small moments of disrespect, we strengthen our ability to face larger provocations with the same calm resolve. Think of it as tempering steel. The more heat and pressure it endures, the stronger it becomes. Similarly, each moment of silence in the face of insult is a step toward unshakable fortitude. Moreover, silence often disarms the aggressor. When their words fail to elicit a reaction, they lose their power. Their anger, like a fire without fuel, burns out. This does not mean we seek to humiliate them with our silence. On the contrary, we extend a kind of mercy by not escalating the situation. In doing so, we embody the Stoic principle of living in harmony with others while maintaining our inner peace. Silence, then, is not just a passive response. It is an active assertion of your strength and your values. It is the clearest expression of self-control, a virtue that stands at the heart of Stoicism. Number 3. The destructive power of reactive emotions. To react impulsively to disrespect is to surrender control to destructive emotions. Anger, pride, and resentment, These are the emotions that chain us, binding our rational minds to the chaos of the moment. The Stoics viewed these emotions as thieves, stealing not only our peace, but also our ability to act with wisdom. Seneca observed, "Anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it." When we lash out in anger, we often cause more harm to ourselves than the original insult ever could. Words spoken in rage cannot be unsaid, and actions driven by pride can lead to regret. The Stoics teach us that the cost of reactive emotions is too high. They cloud our judgment and lead us away from the path of reason. Instead of allowing emotions to dictate our response, we must strive to master them. This begins with awareness. The next time disrespect strikes, pause and observe the emotions rising within you. Do not judge them, but do not act on them either. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have the power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This power lies in the ability to choose your response rather than being ruled by instinct. The Stoics believed in the importance of equanimity, a state of calm and balanced mind. By staying quiet in the face of disrespect, we cultivate this inner stability. We create a space between the insult and our response, a space where reason can prevail. It is in this space that we find our true strength. Silence is not an avoidance of conflict, but a redirection of energy. Instead of pouring our energy into retaliation, we channel it into self-mastery. We learn to see the insult for what it truly is, an external event that holds no power over us unless we grant it. In choosing silence, we free ourselves from the destructive cycle of reactivity and reclaim control over our inner world. Number 4, the virtue of patience in silence. Patience is a virtue that underpins the Stoic practice of silence. To stay quiet after disrespect requires more than self-control. It demands the ability to endure the discomfort of unresolved tension. It is natural to want immediate resolution, to confront the offender, or to defend oneself. But the Stoics remind us that wisdom often lies in waiting. As Seneca said, "Time discovers truth." When we react impulsively, we rob ourselves of the opportunity to see the situation clearly. Patience allows us to step back and view the moment through the lens of reason rather than emotion. In this pause, we gain perspective. We begin to understand that disrespect is often rooted in ignorance, insecurity, or suffering on the part of the other person. Their insult, then, says more about them than it does about us. Silence, when combined with patience, transforms into a tool for personal growth. It teaches us to endure discomfort without breaking. The discomfort of unspoken words, the urge to retaliate, the sting of pride, all these are opportunities to strengthen our inner fortitude. Epictetus likened life's challenges to the trials faced by an athlete. The greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it. Skillful pilots gain their reputation from storms and tempests. Patience also teaches us to focus on what we can control. We cannot control the words or actions of others, but we can control our response. By staying quiet, we reclaim this power. We choose to rise above the moment, to act in alignment with our values, rather than being pulled by fleeting emotions. Furthermore, patience gives us time to craft a thoughtful response, if one is even needed. Not every insult requires a reply. Often, silence itself is the most eloquent answer. It demonstrates strength, dignity, and the confidence to let the moment pass without being consumed by it. In practicing patience, we align ourselves with the wisdom of the Stoics, who believe that enduring difficulty with grace is the mark of a truly virtuous life. Through silence, we learn not only to endure, but to grow. Number 5, turning disrespect into a mirror for growth. Disrespect, though painful, is a mirror, a tool that can reveal truths about ourselves if we are willing to look closely. The Stoics believe that every adversity holds within it a lesson, and insults are no exception. Marcus Aurelius urged, "You always own the option of having no opinion." There's never a need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you cannot control. The insult itself is beyond your control, but your reaction is entirely within your power. Staying silent allows you to step back and examine the situation with clarity. Ask yourself, why does this insult affect me so deeply? What insecurities or attachments does it reveal within me? For example, if someone questions your abilities and you feel anger rising, perhaps it is because you secretly doubt your own competence. The insult then becomes an invitation to address these doubts and strengthen your confidence from within. The Stoics were masters of self-reflection, always seeking to understand and improve themselves. Epictetus said, "If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation." This is not a condemnation, but a reminder that growth begins with accountability. When we recognize that our response to disrespect is shaped by our own thoughts and feelings, we reclaim the power to change. Moreover, silence transforms the moment of disrespect into an opportunity for self-discipline. Instead of reacting impulsively, you exercise control over your emotions and actions. This discipline, practiced consistently, builds inner strength. It is like forging a sword in fire. Each insult becomes the heat that tempers your resilience. Even more profoundly, silence opens the door to compassion. When you step back from the sting of an insult, you may begin to see the pain or ignorance that drives the other person's behavior. This does not mean you condone their actions, but it allows you to approach the situation with understanding rather than hostility. This perspective shifts the dynamic entirely, freeing you from the burden of anger and resentment. In turning disrespect into a mirror for growth, you embody the essence of Stoicism, the pursuit of wisdom and virtue through self-mastery. Silence, in this context, is not just a reaction, it is a conscious act of transformation. Number 6, the freedom in choosing indifference. Indifference, the ability to remain unshaken by external events, is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. The Stoics did not preach apathy, but rather a deliberate focus on what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius captured this sentiment perfectly. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. When someone disrespects you, their words or actions are mere external events, devoid of inherent meaning until you assign them one. By choosing indifference, you liberate yourself from the emotional weight of their insult. This is not weakness, it is freedom. It is the ability to say, "Your actions are yours alone. They do not define me." Indifference does not mean ignorance. It does not mean pretending that the disrespect never occurred. Instead, it is the practice of placing value only on what is within your control, your thoughts, your actions, and your character. Epictetus reminded us, we are disturbed not by what happens to us, but by our thoughts about what happens. To remain indifferent is to reclaim your peace, refusing to be a slave to the opinions of others. This perspective also protects you from the endless cycle of retaliation. Reacting to disrespect often invites further conflict, escalating the situation into a spiral of negativity. Indifference, however, breaks this chain. It robs the insult of its power and redirects your energy toward what truly matters: your personal growth, your goals, and your peace of mind. Choosing indifference is an act of self-respect. It is a declaration that your inner tranquility is worth more than fleeting validation or a petty exchange of words. This choice is not easy, it requires discipline and practice. But each time you choose indifference over anger, you strengthen your ability to remain centered in the storm. In the end, indifference is not about avoiding the world, it is about mastering it. It is the realization that your peace is sacred and cannot be taken from you without your consent. By staying quiet and choosing indifference, you embody the highest ideals of Stoicism: strength, wisdom, and the courage to focus only on what truly matters. Number 7, mastering yourself to master the moment. In the face of disrespect, the greatest victory is not over the one who insulted you, but over yourself. The Stoics believed that true power lies in self-mastery. To conquer your emotions, your impulses, and your ego is to gain control over the most unpredictable force in your life, your own mind. As Seneca wisely stated, no man is free who is not master of himself. When someone disrespects you, the natural impulse is to react, to defend your honor or strike back. But these reactions are chains, binding you to the whims of others. By staying quiet, you break these chains. Silence becomes an act of liberation, a refusal to let another's behavior dictate your own. You rise above the moment, untouchable in your composure. Self-mastery begins with awareness. When the sting of disrespect arises, pause and observe your emotions. Do not suppress them or act on them impulsively. Simply acknowledge their presence. Marcus Aurelius taught, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This strength is born in the space between stimulus and response, where reason prevails over instinct. Mastering yourself also means reframing the situation. Instead of viewing disrespect as an attack, see it as a challenge, a test of your resolve. Each insult becomes an opportunity to practice patience, fortitude, and self-restraint. Over time, these moments shape you, molding you into a person of unshakable character. Moreover, self-mastery leads to inner peace. When you control your response to disrespect, you free yourself from the emotional turmoil it seeks to create. You refuse to carry the weight of anger, resentment, or pride. Instead, you walk through life with clarity and calm, guided by your own principles rather than the chaos of others. Finally, self-mastery inspires respect. When you stay composed in the face of insult, you demonstrate a strength that few possess. People notice this. They see your restraint, your dignity, and your unwavering commitment to your values. Over time, this earns you a respect far deeper than any words or actions ever could. In mastering yourself, you master the moment. And in mastering the moment, you embody the essence of Stoicism, a life lived with wisdom, virtue, and unshakable strength. What are your views on this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I will personally read all of your comments. And if you seriously want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Stay strong. Until next time.